Language is obviously amazingly useful, but it's also amazingly complicated, so it's worth asking how we got here. Well, 1970s School for the Deaf gives us a pretty good clue. See, for a long time, deaf people in Nicaragua were pretty separated from each other. And there was no national sign language that they all learned. There was no school for them to go to learn it, so most of them just were able to communicate with their family with a few basic signs, but not really with each other. When I say basic, I really do mean basic. A lot of the time, these families would not have very complicated communication systems for them. They would really just maybe try to teach them written Spanish, and if that didn't work, oh well. But the opening of that first school really changed a lot. So many people that essentially had no native language all came together. Some of them were very young, some of them were very old. So unlike what usually happens when unrelated peoples come together and pidgin languages form, these people had no languages to make their pidgin based off of. Essentially, they had to make a language from scratch. And they did, like, immediately. Of course, they didn't have a whole language figured out instantaneously, but they did immediately start working on one. And it wasn't really a conscious thing with people saying, oh, we really need to figure out a way to communicate with each other. It was just people trying to communicate, and whatever worked, worked, and it stuck. Eventually, once 3, 4, 5 people were all using a familiar sign for one thing, other people would start picking that up because that was just the most commonly recognized sign. With no one guiding or teaching or even suggesting anything like that to them because they couldn't even be communicated with by the outside world, they just made their own language. It popped up completely out of nowhere. It wasn't designed, it wasn't borrowed, it wasn't altered from something else. It was something completely original to Nicaragua. This was the emergence of a new language from nothing. This is basically like if we saw the primordial soup produce its first organism. In fact, it proves something really important, that language is inherent to us as a species. It's not something that we pass down from our parents. It's not a skill that we learn like woodworking or mathematics. If you put humans together, they will form a language. I wonder what kind of quirks would emerge amongst a language made entirely by blind kids.